Hello everyone and welcome to 2025. We have made it to yet another year on this little floating rock that we're all existing on. As you can tell from the title of this video, we're going to be doing some 2025 planning and goal setting. I recognize that it is almost February when I'm filming this. I am a little bit late, but I didn't want to start planning for a new year without properly closing out and saying goodbye to 2024 and my 29th year on this planet. So I gave myself plenty of time to do that, to kind of close out that chapter and, enter this new year and think about what I really wanted this year to be like. I have already done some kind of initial planning in my head, but I haven't actually sat down and done a more structured version of this exercise. And I also wanted to do it with all of you because I feel like it's a fun way to kind of start off the year, I guess. If you're new here, hello, my name is Emily and I am a newly 30-year-old PhD candidate and young professional living in the greater Boston area. I like to make videos just about my life, so most of that will be kind of about my PhD journey and kind of research journey, and then also just about being a 30-year-old with a 9-to-5 job trying to embrace the more mundane parts of growing up and being an adult, and just bringing more kind of magic and creativity, I guess you could say, to my daily life. And part of that is through making YouTube videos. I post infrequently, shall we say, but I would love it if you stuck around. So let's get into the planning part of this video. I think what I'm going to do is a kind of general 2025 goals. Last year I had more of an approach where I did a bingo board, and I did enjoy that. I think it was kind of like a fun and different way to set goals, but it was a bit, I think it was just, there was a lot of goals that I had, a lot of things that I put on there. And while I love that on one hand, I also think that this year I would like to be a little bit more tailored about what I'm actually trying to do so that I hopefully can accomplish most of my goals. So I think the way that I want to do this is separate them into two categories, a maintain and kind of add category. So the maintain one will be elements that I am trying to continue from last year. So I don't want to view this necessarily as a long laundry list of all the things I want to do. I really want to encourage myself to remember that a lot of the things I want to do in 2025, I started to do in 2024, and hopefully that will help me feel a bit less, I guess, overwhelmed at kind of all the things that I'm hoping to do in 2025 by reminding myself that I'm actually already doing a lot of these. The first thing that I would probably like to maintain is just the relationships aspect of my life. I feel like last year I did a really good job prioritizing the relationships that I have, friendships, my romantic relationship, and then also, the ones with my family and just my coworkers, everyone that I interact with a lot. So I want to continue that into this new year. Instead of trying to quantify this right now, I'm just going to say I would like to visit friends, visit family. So I would like to visit my friends, visit my family, and then also I think maybe set up like a quarterly Zoom with my parents. We will text frequently, but I feel like it'd be nice to have a quarterly kind of check-in with them and just kind of pre-schedule that so that I don't forget to do it, basically. So I think I'm gonna make that a new goal for this year, for this category. Maybe like date night, quarterly date night with my partner, because I feel like we don't necessarily intentionally do date nights that frequently, and it's mainly just because we're both so busy, and on the weekends we really just enjoy kind of like hanging out at home and being with each other. But I think that moving into this new year, it'd be nice to try and just have once a quarter we try to go do something outside the house. So whether that's going out to eat, like very intentionally as a date night, or we go see a movie, just something kind of fun and just for the two of us to do together that's outside, I would say, generally outside of our usual routine. Another thing that I would really like to maintain this year is kind of my fitness, health and fitness, I guess. I do think that I would like to run another half marathon. This will likely be in the second half of the year, so I'm not super concerned with training right now, but as soon as it starts to get a little bit warmer, I will start reincorporating running into my routine, because right now I'm just going to be honest with myself and who I am. I'm likely not going to be out here running in the snow, especially because the risk of me like slipping and falling is pretty high, and I really don't want to do that. So I think I'm going to start that maybe when it warms up a little bit. It doesn't even have to be like, 50 degrees, but just not 20 degrees outside. And then something else I want to continue, and that I have been continuing so far, is the training sessions with my personal trainer. I've moved to bi-weekly sessions, and I think that that feels like a good cadence for me right now, just because I have a lot going on. And also from like a price perspective, weekly sessions are very expensive. And so I think every other week feels a bit more manageable for me. And then another piece that I really want to maintain is daily movement. One small thing I think I would really like to add though to this is to stretch more. I just noticed that even though I've been gaining a lot of strength and I feel like my cardiovascular health is pretty good, I really have noticed that like bending down and trying to do things, I'm like, wow, you need to stretch more. So I think I want to be better at really intentionally stretching and cooling down after a workout. The next category that I would like to maintain is my financial goals. I would like to continue growing my emergency fund, although I've started to call it my peace of mind fund because I don't want to manifest an emergency. That might be a little woo-woo for some people, but I would like to call it more of a peace of mind fund so that I feel secure, because right now it's sitting at, I would say, around like 3 to 4 months of expenses, but I'm trying to get that up to actually probably more 6 to 9 months, just for my own sense of security, I guess. And so from like a monetary perspective, I think that would be also, again, around $5,000. Another thing I would like to continue doing is paying my quarterly taxes. So on top of working my full-time job, I also still freelance, and it's a pretty decent chunk of change. And so I really do need to be putting aside, tax money. Something else that I want to do, which I was sort of doing before, I was like contributing to my Roth IRA, but I didn't max it out last year. And so this year I am hitting the ground running. I'm determined to max it out. I think the number is like $7,000. So far, I think I broke that down into bi-weekly payments for my paycheck. It's about $280 out of each paycheck. And when I separate it like that, it doesn't feel quite as significant. Something else I want to continue doing is, saving. Also, right now I'm not maxing out my 403b, which is basically similar to a 401k, but I'm contributing the 3% to get my employer match. So I'm doing that. And then I'm also contributing an additional $100 per paycheck. So that's where it currently is. So I'm contributing around 6% of my paycheck to my 403b. So I would like to just maintain that. And if I feel like I can afford to allocate more money to my 403b, then I will. But the order that I feel like I've seen online of what the recommended thing for you to do is to contribute at least the amount to get your employer match. And then once you have done that, open a Roth if you can and max out your Roth. And then once you max out your Roth, go back and contribute more to your 403b. So now I'm on that third step. And then other elements of my financial goals, this could be like a whole other video, but I would also like to maintain my kind of the amount of cash flow that I'm sending to my personal brokerage account every week, maybe increase it. We'll see. So the next category that I want to maintain is probably just my travel / life / fun category. I want to continue traveling. So I will say I would like to visit a new country. And as I mentioned in my previous video, I would love it if that country is Japan. I think I can make it happen. I'm pretty sure I can make it happen. But again, that wouldn't be till the end of the year. So visit a new country and then also just visit friends. But that's kind of like in my relationships aspect. So I'm not really going to put that under travel. The next category is going to be my reading category. So I managed to actually exceed my reading goal last year. So this year I'm upping it to 12. I want to read 1 book for fun per month. I'm also happy to tell you all that I've already read my first fun book for the year. I'm already on my way to hitting that goal. Last thing is home. So last year, I think my goal was like, I want to refresh my office. This year, that is still a goal. That is still a goal. More generally, trying to be more intentional about creating a space in our apartment that I really enjoy. I mean, I already feel like our apartment's pretty cozy, but there's some things that I really would like to do to enhance that. So for my add category, the main one here is going to be my PhD. The last 2 years with my PhD have not felt very good to me. It's not that they've been overly negative necessarily, but I just haven't felt very confident about them. And so I really want this year to be the year where I establish, a really good daily writing routine, where I really start to take myself more seriously as a researcher, as a scholar. Obviously, both of those things in training right now, but I would really like this year to be the year that I step into my capabilities, I guess, as a researcher. So that's the biggest thing. So establish a good daily writing process. So that's a big part of it for me. I think I could do a more specific breakdown about what I'm gonna try to accomplish in my PhD this year in like a dissertation diaries video. But functionally what I want to do is complete my quant chapter, which I was able to get the draft into my committee members a couple weeks ago. So I didn't necessarily hit my goal of doing it before the end of 2024, but I did hit it before I turned 30. So I would like to leave my kind of procrastination tendencies behind in my 20s. And then I also want to submit my IRB and start interviews. I would also like to just end the year with 3 chapters of my dissertation drafted. Those 3 chapters will be my lit review, my quant chapter, and then my interviews. I would like those to be drafted, like a very solid rough draft at the end of this year. So it's a bit ambitious, but I'm really determined. I'm determined. Next category for my the additions I would like to do is language. Last year, as you know, I set out to take and pass the HSK4 and also continue my Spanish language learning. And as we know, I did not accomplish either of those things. This year, I really, given my kind of other limitations with my time, I'm going to be dropping my Spanish language learning, I think, just entirely. It's still something that in my mind I would love to return to at some point because I just see so much value in being able to speak like even conversational Spanish. But right now, again, this year, I'm just trying to be a little more focused. So my goal is going to be take and pass the HSK4. The next thing I would really, really like to add and focus in on this year is my, I guess, social media use and just kind of general attention. Last year I called it more intention about my attention. This year it's just gonna be, I think, pretty cut and dry, and it's gonna be delete and keep Twitter and Threads off of my phone. So both those apps be gone. I'm actually even considering deleting YouTube from my iPad mini because I find myself just consuming so much of it before I go to bed. So I'm not doing that yet. Actually, I probably should. Keep YouTube off of my iPad mini. And it sucks because I need to. Honestly, I need to. I spend way too much time. It feels almost just like my emotional support YouTube video that plays in the background. And I think I really want to lean more into silence and not necessarily being stimulated every second of the day, and just having times where I'm like, you know what? I can get ready in the morning without listening to something. It's fine. My final category for just kind of my 2025 brainstorming is related to creative stuff again. I don't know, I really like to release my feelings of perfectionism around things and lean more into not just creating things on YouTube, but also documenting things more on my Instagram, and really just not caring as much about like followers or subscribers or views. I've never been like hyper fixated on numbers or anything like that. If I think too much about it, sometimes I can definitely get in my own head about it. So I would just really like to make more things, both on YouTube, on Insta, but also like in real life. What a concept. For example, as it relates to trying to put more stuff on the walls, I would love the idea of like buying frames and maybe painting them, doing more things that maybe nurture me creatively, and bonus points if they happen like offline. You know, in previous years with my creative stuff, I've really been like, oh, I'm gonna try to post once a week. I'm gonna try to do one YouTube video a week. I'm gonna try to do one Instagram post a week and a story thing a week. And it's just like too much. Really the only goal is just I wanna make more. And I didn't really create that much this past year in 2024. So I think it should be a pretty easy goal to hit. So those are my 2025 goals, at least kind of a general outline of them. This was not so much a very like specific plan with me video, just kind of I'm just talking. So I think maybe in the next couple of videos, I will do a more specific plan with me, maybe like a quarter two plan with me type video where I'm really breaking down each goal and outlining them a little bit more. I'm not sure. And then something else I might actually decide to film because I feel like I was rambling a lot, or not even rambling. I feel like I was talking a lot about my financial goals. And that feels like something that I do want to talk a little bit more about on this channel. Let me know how your 2025 is going so far. I know that it's just kind of, it feels very dystopian. It's felt very dystopian, and for many people in this country and I guess globally as well, it's always been very dystopian. With all of that said, let me know how this year's going for you. I would love if you shared any goals or just any wins, things you're excited about this year. I'm really trying to, not necessarily stick my head in the sand as it relates to all the things that are happening politically, but also trying to center as much joy as possible. I hope to see you back here soon. Also talking to myself so that I post something soon. But I hope to see you back here soon, and I hope you have a great week. Stay safe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.